Well, just as a refresher, I had flipped this guy over on a takeoff over on his tip stalled, and he flipped over on his nose, and this whole area crushed, and the propeller shaft broke off. As you can see, I've repaired all the crushed fuse and repainted it, and in the previous video you can see what the colors were that I used to paint it back into the right condition. Again, this little slot up here goes down to some set screws that are around on that hub right there. And when you unscrew that, you have to use, in this case, the smallest Allen wrench in your English measurement group. It's not a metric thing, which really surprised me, but anyway, you got to stick that in there and it locks into it, and it'll unscrew it easily without any real effort, and then you can just pull the whole motor off of that hub. So now it's my understanding from looking at the various images for parts for the HobbyKing warbird series, they all use this same motor. So what you see here is going to be pretty much applicable, I'm pretty sure, to all of them, even though when I looked at the aircraft in that website, I could not see that same hole coming down from the top of the fuselage, so maybe it comes in from underneath. But in any case, so there I was. I had a broken shaft, and I had this piece loose and the rest of it was stuck inside the motor. I thought it was a solid fused thing, but you know, once I looked at the shaft a little closer, I recognized, wait a minute, there's a C-clip on the end of it right here, and I just pulled that C-clip off, and at that point stuck a long smallest socket that I had, put the motor on the stack like that, and then using a punch, I was able to hammer down and drive that shaft completely through. Now, in the meantime, that left me with no shaft and kind of being shafted at that point. I went looking, and I eventually found at Hobbytown, I found this guy right here. Now, what this guy looked like when I purchased him was a same size shaft, but it had a nylon gear in the middle of it. And rather than try and just pound that gear off, I took a Dremel tool and cut it in half because the shaft already showed a propensity to be brittle and break, and I didn't want to risk it. So I just cut it off of there, and now I'm in the process of trying to rebuild it. Now, that shaft went back down inside that cavity very easily. So my next chore is to put the C-clamp back into that slot, and that's probably going to prove to be, oh, there's a washer, and then the C-clamp, and Lord of mercy, it went on there just like that. Now all I got to do is get it down there to where it'll kiss. One more little tap. Okay. Now then, in theory, what I got here is a motor that won't turn. Why is that? Did I put you down in there too far? What happened here? Oh no, it does turn. I'm sorry. The shaft goes with the outside of the armature, so it appears to be all fixed. So that's really it. I'm going to put the set screws, grub screws, back in the hub there and install it back in the aircraft. And unless something really strange happens, I mean, it's possible that I may have to trim a little bit off the end of that shaft, but that ought to be easy enough with that Dremel tool. And that was it. If you do it this way, it'll save you at least the 33 bucks that it costs to get a new motor, and you won't have to wait for 6 to 8 weeks. Good luck, fellas.